station, we pass through the railroad's North Reading yard. A great deal of freight is gathered here and assembled into trains to serve customers as far north as Hazleton, Scranton, and even Tunkhannock. Approaching the northern limit of North Reading Yard, we pass NPX-1 on our left and Packaging Corporation of America on our right, two important customers of the railroad. We sail under busy U.S. Route 222, formerly known as the Road to Nowhere, and cross the main branch of the Schuylkill River on the picturesque Peacock's Lock Viaduct. It is known as a pierced spandrel bridge because there are actually large circular openings between each arch and the bridge deck. It is believed to be the only bridge of this type in America, and is named for a nearby lock on the long-defunct Schuylkill Canal. This unique span was designed and completed by Gustavus Nichols for the Philadelphia and Reading Railroad in 1856. Nichols, himself a prominent Philadelphia and Reading officer for more than a half-century, was also the force behind the design and construction of Reading's original outer station, which was opened in 1874 and stood until 1978. This is a popular spot for photographers, as it is situated at the extreme north end of one of the longest stretches of straight and level track on the entire railroad. If you were to stand at ground level here, you could literally see the train coming northbound for miles. At the north end of the yard, we cross Main Street in the small community of Mohrsville.
Then I'll take a diet.
You would like it? No, it's a regular.
That'll be an. Oh, it's a can. I'll take a water because I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't want to.
You would like a water? How about yourself?
I'll have a Coke.
You would like a Coca-Cola. You got it. All right, we'll be right back with the drinks, folks.
Thank you. They sit back.
Now, what do they make out of this wheat in here in this field? What, do they grind it up?
I guess so, yeah.
passenger station. Immediately after that, we glide over West State Street and under Route 61 at virtually the same time. Tightly follows the tracks to our left in this area. Very shortly we will pass under a trestle of the former Pennsylvania Railroad Schuylkill Valley branch, which was built in the 1880s to compete directly with the Reading Company's main line. This is now part of the John Bartram Trail, which is a segment of the Schuylkill River Trail running between Pottsville and Philadelphia. Just beyond the trestle on the right is Kernsville Dam on the Schuylkill River. Home to the Port Clinton Hotel, served as a stagecoach stop between Sunbury and Philadelphia in the early 1800s. The Port Clinton Hotel was a great social center where news from other states and even foreign countries was exchanged. In fact, it became customary when signing the hotel register to add any news that one thought might be of common interest. The Schuylkill Canal was an important transportation link. The last boat to leave Port Clinton's once crowded basin was the Mary Rose, which took a load of coal to the state sanatorium in Hamburg just before the outbreak of World War II in 1939. The railroad became the dominant form of transportation in Port Clinton from the mid-1800s on. Port Clinton is located 78 miles north of Philadelphia on the former Reading Company main line. Today, Port Clinton is an important crossroads on Route 61, just north of Interstate 78. across Broad Street, watch to your left for our recently expanded roundhouse, turntable, and our wheel truing shop. The turntable is actually from the Monongahela Railroad in South Brownsville, Pennsylvania, and fit nicely into the old Reading Company pit, which was unearthed in 1998. On our right now is the Little Schuylkill River. We will cross over the Little Schuylkill numerous times along our route. Having rounded Black Oak Curve and passing under Route 61 for the fourth and final time, we enter the small community of Molino. Route 895 will follow our line for several miles to the left of the train. The open fields along Route 895 make the area an ideal place for rail fans to photograph our train in operation. Look for them at several more locations along our route. Turn away from Route 895 and curve around the base of the mountain for which the road has been named. Watch for white-tailed deer and wild turkeys in this remote area. You'll also notice on your left one of several evergreen farms that cover the rolling hills of this area. As a matter of fact, this area is one of the largest suppliers of Christmas trees on the East Coast.
Beautiful Christmas trees.
Oh, wow.
You see one big one out of the whole batch. Yeah. Beautiful. Wow.
blows the horn for the newly repaved Route 895 and 443 crossing or Hughes Street. The tracks pass right through the center of town on a long straight line, making this another popular spot for photographers.
So like upstater places.
Those of you seated on the left side of the coaches should be able to see the locomotives negotiating the curve. And a few moments later, those of you on the right will see the same. This
That's a
location
nice
is
shot.
named for the former Atlas gunpowder plant, a dynamite works which produced explosives used in this region's prevalent mining industry. The site is now home to Copperhead Chemical Company. Copperhead manufactures pharmaceutical-grade nitroglycerin used in heart medications, as well as explosives used in propellants, fuel additives, and defense munitions applications. South Tamaqua, we pass through the coal piles at the Premium Fine Coal Company, a classic anthracite region setting. Very shortly, we will enter another segment of double-tracked railroad at equilateral interlocking and Tamaqua Yard, where we will see even more freight awaiting distribution to local customers.
That's old. Go back. Really old.
telegraph office of the Reading Company, which dates back to the 1880s. The odd shape of the building is due to its location inside a Y track that once existed here to connect Tamaqua and Pottsville. As we cross Broad Street, watch for the former Reading Company Tamaqua passenger station on your left, built in 1874. The structure barely escaped demolition several times since passenger service was discontinued by the Reading Company in 1961. In 2004, the Tamaqua Save Our Station group proudly completed a $1.5 million renovation of the building. The beautifully restored station now houses a restaurant. In 2020, Andy Muller and the Reading and Northern Railroad spent tens of thousands of dollars to restore and extend the platform to trackside, which allows for station stops here on select passenger excursions. In 2023, the United States Postal Service immortalized the Tamaqua station on a postage stamp, one of 5 railroad stations in the country to be so honored. As we continue through Tamaqua, we cross Elm and Rose Streets and begin to climb the hill toward Barnesville. This will be the toughest test our train will face on our trip today, as it tackles the steepest grade on the route. Mahanoy Junction, our branch to Mount Carmel diverges from the main line. Look carefully between the 2 tracks for the brick base of the old wooden water tank that once stood here, as well as the former Reading Company passenger station, which is now a residence. Junctions, first Haucks, then Carbon, post connecting tracks that lead to our line to Hazleton and the Humboldt Industrial Park, a major source of freight traffic for the Reading and Northern Railroad. Also at Haucks, we leave the former Reading Company rails and switch on to those of the former Central Railroad of New Jersey for the remaining 17 miles of our trip to Jim Thorpe. Plant, formerly Presumed Materials, is on the left side of the train. Look for white-tailed deer and turkeys in the fields surrounding the plant. We next cross Fairview Street and Church Road in Rush Township. We'll dive into the woods once more, but only briefly, as we approach the Hometown High Bridge. Anyway, to give you a little history of the Hometown High Bridge, the first incarnation of the bridge was completed in 1870 when this line was first built. It was made entirely of wooden timbers. The threat of fire caused by the hot coals and sparks from steam locomotives was a constant problem. To safeguard against this, 2 watchmen were employed to inspect the bridge following the passage of every train. They lived nearby in company-owned homes and worked 12-hour shifts. In the event of a fire, wooden barrels filled with water along with buckets were placed on either side of the bridge approximately every 100 feet. It should be noted that in those early days there were no side railings on the bridge. However, the wooden structure was built in such a way that any piece of timber could be removed and repaired without having to stop train traffic from crossing the bridge. In 1896, the wooden bridge was replaced by a steel structure, and in 1931, the Phoenix Bridge Company rebuilt the bridge into its current form. It was originally intended to be a double-track bridge to carry a planned main line running between New York and Chicago.
Thank you very much.
During World War I, owing perhaps to its strategic location, the bridge was guarded by soldiers against trespassers and intruders. During World War II, security guards provided by the railroad watched the bridge around the clock. The last time the bridge was guarded in such a manner was during the 1948 presidential campaign of Harry S. Truman. Truman traveled over 30,000 miles across 28 states, giving over 350 speeches from the platform of his private rail car, the Ferdinand Magellan. The famous news photo of Mr. Truman holding up the November 3rd, 1948 Chicago Tribune article erroneously proclaiming Dewey defeats Truman was taken from the platform of the Ferdinand Magellan at St. Louis Union Station. Well, the lake has been drained completely. You can see the vegetation growing on the lake floor, as well as the tree stumps, once submerged but now hanging on by the roots. Or, if you're the conductor of this train, they're hanging on by the roots. Contrast this scene with what we saw moments ago at Greenwood Lake. This 330-acre spring-fed lake was originally built in 1883 as the Hauto Dam. It is now privately owned and used by boaters and fishermen. The Hauto Estates, a private lakeside resort community, can be seen on the North Shore. This plant was opened in 1975 and bills itself as the nation's leading independent compounder of engineering resins, alloys, and other thermoplastic materials. We are entering Nesquehoning, the last small town we will pass through before Jim Thorpe. We are greeted on the left by the newest additions to the Reading and Northern Railroad, the buildings that are being transformed into our Nesquehoning campus and our brand new Nesquehoning Regional Railroad Station. You can see the station platform and canopy on our running left. This location is ideally situated right in the middle of our main line between North Reading and Pittston.
They all look like they're closed down.
itself was founded in 1830 by the Lehigh Coal and Navigation Company to provide housing for the employees mining anthracite in the nearby Room Run mine. The tracks pass directly through this residential neighborhood. Nesquehoning, we pass under Route 93, which begins just south of our location at a junction with Route 209. Route 93 climbs up and over Broad Mountain and runs up to Hazleton, becoming the main thoroughfare in the city. Jim Thorpe Junction, we diverge onto the Jim Thorpe Branch, while the main line continues northward to Pittston on our new bridge over the Lehigh River. More than 20 years in planning, this bridge opened for service in February of 2020 and allows the Reading and Northern Railroad a progressive move between North Reading and key points north such as Penobscot, Pittston, and Tunkhannock. Just east of Jim Thorpe Junction is Nesquehoning Junction. This, along with Jim Thorpe Junction and River Junction just north of here, form a Y that allows trains to be completely turned around. Think of this as you would a three-point turnaround in a car. This is the method we will use to turn our passenger consist around for the southbound run during your stay in Jim Thorpe. Also notice the abandoned PQ Tower on the left that controlled train movements at this location until April of 1972. Now this route here is used by two of the three other trains I mentioned previously. One of them is our excursion train operating from the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Regional Railroad Station in Pittston. The other is our Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway train. The Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway is the train that you will have the opportunity to ride if you wish. This is the location of the Jim Thorpe Rail Yard. Its original engine house was torn down in 1945 to make room for the large turntable. This turntable on the right is operational and is sometimes used to turn our other steam locomotive, number 425, when it is used on passenger excursions. Today, our train will use the Y at Nesquehoning, River, and Jim Thorpe Junctions to turn. As we continue through the yard, we pass under Pennsylvania Route 903. Jim Thorpe's Memorial is located on Route 903 at the end of town. Route 903 heads toward Blakesley, deep in the Poconos. Jim Thorpe is on the southwestern tip of the Pocono region, which includes Carbon, Monroe, Pike, and Wayne counties. Millions of people visit the Poconos each year to participate in outdoor activities, stay at one of the dozens of resorts, or take sightseeing trips. As we approach the station, we're passing on our running left the excursion train that came from the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Regional Railroad Station in Pittston. As we get closer, we'll also pass the other train I mentioned. That's composed of our rail diesel cars, or RDCs. That train came from Pottsville. We'll also be seeing the outbound 12 o'clock Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway train on our running right. That will be operating on the track closest to the wall.
Not during this time of year, no. This time of year it's just Crown Class Standard Coach and then the open air cars, which are coming up just in a minute here.
A little cold.
Today, yeah. Especially when they get in the gorge, because then they go up to track speed, so it's a little windy.
That's it for our northbound trip. We'll see you back here at 4:05 p.m. Till then, Ruskiana, so long.
You also see our RDC Bud cars on the track. Those came up from Pottsville today. That's our third fall excursion that we run on the weekends.
Nesquehoning Junction. Jim Thorpe Junction.
Okay?
Do we get orders for the
Yep.
coats?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
He's taking the orders.
Thank you.
He's working his way up.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Nesquehoning Campus and Nesquehoning Regional Railroad Station. Tippet Swamp. Lake Hauto. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the hometown High Bridge. EMD Electronics.
That's General Electric. That was a division electric.
Haucks.
It's all for here.
East Mahanoy Junction. Tamaqua Tunnel. Tamaqua. Tamaqua Yard.
Hey Russ, did you see the heritage unit on the point of the engines?
3 South Tamaqua. Ringgold. Folks, for those of you that boarded our train at Port Clinton, we are approaching the station. We will be stopped only long enough to discharge Port Clinton passengers. Therefore, all other passengers are asked to kindly remain on the train. Once we stop, Port Clinton passengers, please exit the train only where there's a uniformed car attendant with an open door and step box. In this case, that would be Joseph and Lionel, or rather, Larry. Please follow their instructions, such as take your time, watch your step, hold on to the handrails, and look down as you exit. We do not want anyone getting hurt. We certainly hope you enjoyed your trip today and that you'll come back and see us again soon. Bye-bye.
Beside that, that's the steam shop.
Do we go under I-70 or over it?
We went under.
Okay, because it looks like it's just outside here that we go.
No,
under.
that's Route 60.
No, I'm talking about when we leave here.
We leave here.
At some
We
point
go
soon,
underneath
under
this
some-
I-78 will go were topless.
Okay.
Yep. Yes.
I noticed that some of the cars on the train, secure guards along the way, some say Reading and Northern.
Yep.
Some, there was a blue locomotive that said Blue Mountain and Reading.
Okay. What happened?
And then there's the Reading, Blue Mountain, and Northern.
Which is a
Are they
real deal.
different?
That's a real deal. We started in 1983. Okay, and we started, Pennsylvania was looking for someone to take over the Pennsylvania Railroad tracks down in Hamburg, down to Temple. Okay, 18 miles. Randy Muller, that was his first line. So we had it from there, and he started a passenger division here, down up to South Hamburg. So that Pensy line's still there. It's actually, that's the Pensy line up there. It's the White Trail now. It's up there. But that's the same line. That's the same branch. They made that the White Trail up on top of the hill. That's how the Pensy competed with the Reading. To get in the coal. To get in the coal. We fellas, there's the fast freight's going to be coming through. Fast freight. Up here at Muller Interlocking, where we're going to double track, the fast freight needs to go up this way, and we pass each other. Now, as long as they didn't have problems in the yard, sometimes they do, because Norfolk Southern hands off so much cargo and traffic to us. Some days it's
Folks,
full,
for
some
you
days it's
train
huge.
fans on board today,
So,
we have a special bonus.
It should be
for
over
you as
here.
we
We're going to
make
go
our
on
way
track
south
2.
to
They're going to go
our
on track
station.
1. Whatever time. Either
Passing
they're going
on
to
our
wait for
running
us,
left-hand
or
side,
we're going
our
to be passing.
flagship freight train,
All right.
the NRFF, which stands for North Reading Fast Freight. This is a carefully timed freight train that runs the entire length of our main line, 6 days a week from North Reading to Pittston and back. Again, that will be coming up on the running left-hand side. Please keep in mind clearances are tight, which is why we ask you keep your head, hands, and legs inside the car at all times.
That's for people in standard coach.
Yeah.
for the rest of the people on the because it was all the way down.
Muller.
And the guy had it locked, and he had to unlock it right where it goes down to the bottom.
Yeah.
But it was my understanding it's a unisex bathroom.
And you go back in.
Whoever you use, you know,
There was a
Well,
sign on the
because
wall.
you could be a man in there, a woman in there, it don't matter. Any
Unisex,
only
yeah.
one person could use it at a time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
78.
the persons didn't know how to flush the toilet.
Yeah,
And I had to play the game. Finally, I put down. Did you end up keeping the cat?
it cost me $200. $30 worth of food, and then at $20 for the $25 cat scratch. Then I went down to the freaking place, the non-kill. Took it up to the animal place. And he said, we want a donation. So I wrote a check. There's David Deere.
Story powering up.
There was like 4 up, they ran something.
Mohrsville.
The person who was the instructor said it was really almost more like operating like industrial equipment than it was like operating, driving a car. But that's checked off the bucket list.
That's on top.
So it was like $340 to drive it for an hour. So he said it was burnt about 16 gallons of fuel. Took it out a total of about 10 miles. Got it up to maybe 20 miles an hour. That was about the peak that I could drive it at.
Yeah, if you're ever in Delaware, I think they got the Western.
Yeah.
Your eyes.
Folks, our passage over the Schuylkill River on Peacock's Lock Viaduct marks our entrance into North Reading Yard, and that means we will be arriving back at Outer Station shortly. From Outer Station to Jim Thorpe and back, we covered a total of 120 miles on today's trip. On behalf of the staff and management of the Reading Blue Mountain Northern Railroad, I would like to thank all of you for riding with us on this, our 8th Fall Foliage Excursion of 2024, as we celebrate our 40th season of passenger service. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as the conductor has the train properly spotted at Outer Station, he will give the okay to your car attendants to detrain you where it is safe to do so. When the time comes to detrain, please exit only where there's a uniformed crew member with an open door and step box. Please follow their instructions, such as take your time, watch your step, hold on to the handrails, and look down as you exit. Next week, we will be hosting our final Fall Foliage Excursions to Jim Thorpe, featuring the Streamlined F-Unit diesel locomotives. That's next week, and until then, Rusty Anna saying goodbye, everybody.
Have a great rest of your night. Thank you. No problem. Take care, all right?